Good afternoon. I'm John Miller. I'm the Vice President of Design and Construction for MGM Hospitality. I've actually been aware of high design now for several years. I'm at this point don't even remember how I first came to know, but went to one of the earlier conferences in 2009, I believe, that was in Penang, and found it a very, very efficient way to get a great deal of business done and also have a little bit of fun with people that are in our business. Uneducated expectations were that it was closest to an exhibition. It's an exhibition with speed dating, because quite honestly, exhibitions, although they have a sense of freedom of allowing you to travel around an exhibition hall and see different things, it can be very difficult to get meaningful meetings in that kind of a situation. I think the notion of having scheduled meetings at a table, sitting down with a supplier, is just far, far more efficient. I think it was, when I first attended in 2009, it was quite a surprise. I hadn't been to a conference that was organized this way. A little strange at first, but I think, as I've said, I think it proves itself to be very valuable. I think whether it's last time or this time, I think one of the greatest benefits is essentially the quality of a very personal face-to-face meeting. I think that aspect comes out much more in this kind of an organized event rather than an exhibition where people tend to travel more casually, and as a result the interaction between a supplier and a buyer is not nearly as forceful and is nearly as reinforcing. I think that what we get out of it is being able to, in a short time, develop a bit of a personal relationship, to know that, oh, I can call on this person and get information, I can put them forth on a project, we can work together. All those things can come out very quickly in a situation like this. I think maybe one of the additional aspects of this particular visit has been learning how the market is changing, and by that I mean I saw a lot more suppliers this time from outside the region that are moving into Asia Pacific, and I think, to be honest, and it'll be interesting to hear their side of the story, but I think if anything, this was an opportunity for them to learn about how doing business in Asia Pacific is very different than perhaps, say, in Europe or North America. I'd say that it's about, typically, this time and last time was probably pretty similar, almost a one-third, one-third, one-third split of people that I've either done some business with or knew of before. Another third of new people that I'm very pleasantly surprised and very keen to be able to put forth on some of our projects, and probably another third that I consider more of glad that I met you, because probably not appropriate for what we're doing. No, we don't, and I think, and that's a consequence of MGM Hospitality being a new division of an existing company. The company, ourselves, we're relying on our own efforts to develop those supplier relationships, and that's why I think a conference like this is extremely valuable to us as a company. I promise that Bali had absolutely nothing to do with it. And of course that's a lie, and I think that is, people can sometimes joke about those aspects of a conference, but that's the reality of this kind of business. It is important to be working, to be meeting in an atmosphere where people are relaxed, where people are therefore far easier to and more willing to interact. And I think a place like this, with this organization, and with the list of people that we saw in the early days of the planning, made it attractive. I think probably more, not necessarily because there are strictly because there are more suppliers or different suppliers, but a combination of the fact that, at least my perception is, that the market is undergoing a lot more changes and companies are either restructuring, moving, or coming to the region, and so a lot learned from all of that. And also the fact that coming here with a colleague was actually more beneficial than I expected. Kind of 1 + 1 = 3. Absolutely, and I don't know how much Atticus has adjusted the timing of the meetings over the years. I know that other adjustments have been made in order to try to find just the sweet spot in how things are set up, but I think the timing is just about right. It's long enough to learn the essentials about a potential relationship between ourselves and various suppliers, and that's what makes it an incredibly efficient use of just a couple of days. I'd say it's a great mix of getting work done with a lot of people who are keen to be relaxed and set up new relationships, and therefore very valuable.